Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show. Today we're going to be testing out the new Wild Country Mosquito harness. Now this is a lightweight sport climbing specific harness and we're going to be doing 3 very special tests. Now this is a sponsored video, but of course my opinions are my own. So this is it, the Mosquito. It's very lightweight. In fact, the lightest that Wild Country have ever made. I've only recently received this, so I'm not sure of its capabilities. And that's why we're doing these 3 tests today to push this thing to its absolute limit. Now, while I get racked up, here's some tech specs. The harness is 230 grams in size small, 10 grams lighter than the Petzl Sitter in the same size. It's made up of a laminated, lightweight waist belt, super lightweight mesh padding and a robust, fast-drying covering. It's got a seamless design for comfort, and that's meant to feel great against your skin. The Mosquito has freedom of movement in mind, and it's been stripped down to accommodate that. There's a wear indicator built into the harness's lower tie-in point. Red threads become visible when the harness needs replacing. There are 4 gear loops, 2 rigid at the front and 2 floppy ones at the back. A rear haul loop also doubles as a chalk bag attachment point. There's an aluminium self-locking buckle on the waist belt, while the leg loops have an elastic riser to accommodate for fit. So this harness is lightweight. It's designed for red pointing and performance climbing. And how brands achieve this is by stripping off everything on the harness to leave this streamlined, quite sleek look. Now there's been a few of these harnesses come out recently. Think the BL Ghost, the Black Diamond Airnet, and of course the classic Petzl Sitter. So when the brands strip a harness down, they do this in a variety of ways, and one of the methods is to use a slightly thinner material on the waist belt. Now that's fine for when you're climbing, it feels fantastic when you move, but it can be uncomfortable when you fall off. And unless you're Adam Ondra, although Adam Ondra also falls off, you're going to be hanging around in this helmet and taking some falls whilst you're using it. So that's going to be our first test, a fall test. And it's very early in the morning and I'm not psychologically ready. Climbering. Right, I'm above a bolt, so let's find out what this thing behaves like when I fall off. You ready, Matt? 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! Just because this is so much fun, let's fall off again. You right, Matt? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Right, here we go again. One final test. Fall number 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Woohoo! Right, test completed. Let's come down. Okay, Matt. Gear loops change between harnesses. If you've got a trad harness or something perhaps a bit bigger, there tends to be 4 rigid loops in the harness. Now the Mosquito does things differently because it's a red pointing harness. You're meant to have the quick draws already in the wall when you climb. So they take away some of those features. There are 2 rigid ones on the front, but they're fairly small, and there's floppy little loose ones on the back just to stay out of the way, and you don't usually use them when you're hard sport climbing. But not everyone is hard sport climbing all the time. Sometimes you want to carry gear up a route, or even on a multi-pitch. Maybe you've got 12 to 15 quick draws stacked up on this thing. So I want to see what the gear loops are really like. And to test this, I brought a ton of trad climbing gear, and I'm gonna, trad climb with it. Why not? Hex is absolutely vital. Okay, Matt, all good? Right. I know this might seem a little bit silly taking an enormous trad rack up, but I did want to test the gear loops to its absolute limit, and that's what we're doing.
I tell you what, I was going to use the bolts on this, but I could actually trad it. Should I trad it? I'm going to trad it. Right, so I got all the gear. Ooh, mate, that's a bomber little placement. I'm going to carry on tradding it. I'm having too much fun. Interesting. It does feel interesting. I'll tell you more when I get back down on the ground. Well, getting my trad game on was not exactly what I expected out of today, but that was a lot of fun. So one final test to go, and it's time to get sweaty. Why haven't I got any clothes on? Well, all will be explained in a second. Now, this harness is designed for your hardest redpoint sends. You're going to be sweating, doing insane moves, and we need to put that to the test. How breathable is this harness? And also, Wild Country make a big thing of it being comfortable next to your skin. Hence the no clothes. There's a seamless design which is meant to not scratch you in weird places, so in the middle of Chamonix, I'm like this. I'm going to do a series of things. I'm going to run down there, I'm going to do some jumpy on stuff, some squats, careful Hugo not to film certain bits, and then I'm going to go and climb on the rock, sweat a little bit and see how it feels on my skin. Okay, in one take. All right. Upper thigh action there for you, Hugo. Okay, squats. Oh, this is graphic. Oh dear, don't look. Please don't look. Okay, I've got a really bad shoulder, I can't do that.
Lunges.
Lunges, you want me to lunge?
Lunge.
Sorry, everyone in front of me. Okay, right, let's go to the rock.
Yep, go.
And go climbing.
Are you sweating yet, Matt?
Am I sweating?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Do you want to run on the spot just quick before you go? As you're doing this?
Am I sweaty enough? I'm not quite sweaty enough yet. I've got my trainers on. There's no time. Things are falling out. Okay. Climbing! Sorry, everyone! What am I doing? Okay! Down, down!
You sweating yet?
I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I'm rubbing. Got some severe potential chafage going on. Okay, I need to get some clothes on and give you my opinion. Right, so all the tests are done. So what do I think of the Wild Country Mosquito? Well, generally, I think harnesses are broken up into different categories. You've got your all-round, trad-specific, alpine, and of course, the category that the Mosquito's in, the hard red pointing and sport climbing harnesses. As I said earlier, these have been stripped down in order to get all the faff out of the way. You don't want your harness annoying you when you're trying to send at your absolute limit, and that's what this is designed for. However, most people use their harnesses for lots of different things, and that's why we did some of those tests today, to see what the Mosquito was like out of its comfort zone. So let's start with that falling test. Very comfortable. I didn't really notice anything, especially around my waist when I fell off. And something I did notice, that was when I was hanging around on the rope, waiting for the filming to get ready, Hugo to get into position, it was comfortable when just hanging there. Something I've seen with the BL Ghost is that the leg loops are very thin, and that kind of numbs up my leg. I didn't notice it with the Mosquito, so top marks there. Moving on to the ridiculous stack me up full of trad gear test. And that test was all about weight distribution. How does the weight feel on the harness when you're moving? There's always going to be a disadvantage with that floppy back gear loop. It's just not very good for holding gear, and it's not designed to really hold gear. So do take that in mind if you're thinking this is a trad harness. It's not a trad harness. But the weight distribution did feel good. It didn't feel weird in certain positions. And generally, again, that comfort factor I was impressed with. It felt good around my waist. And the final test, the skin to harness sweat test. Look, I need to be in it a little bit longer to really test the chafage on that thing, but it was comfortable, it did feel good, it did feel breathable, as in I wasn't sweating through the harness particularly. I wouldn't recommend you ever climb in just your boxes, there's a lot of things to get caught, but it was a fairly good test to see how it was dealing with that breathability issue. If you're in the market for the category of harness the Mosquito sits in, well, you have got a few other choices. At the cheaper end of the spectrum, you've got that BL Ghost. More expensive, something like the Black Diamond Airnet, that's about 120 euros-ish. The Sitter, a little bit higher, but around about that same price point. Whereas the Mosquito is currently at 81 euros on the EpicTV shop. So that puts it nicely in the middle. I have got to question, and I know I haven't used it that much yet, but why you would spend the 40+ euros on something like the Petzl Sitter when this does everything just as well. I mean, it's super lightweight, it feels great when it's on, it holds gear okay, it just doesn't have that top premium price tag. So it will be interesting to see, because I need to do more tests with this, I need to wear it more and see what the durability of this harness is like. But on the impressions of today and a few other climbing sessions, I'm so far enjoying it. If you want to check it out, there's links down below. Cheers for watching The Gear Show, and I'll see you very soon.